Okie doke. I think we should make a start there then. So, thank you very much to those of you joining us live. It's great to see you joining us this afternoon, and it's great to have you here with us. Welcome to the first in our series of library success webinars. These are webinars that are going to be set up to run roughly every month, and they are for members of our Technology from Sage community, regardless of whether you have Talis Aspire, Talis Elevate, Lean Library, Cywheel, or any combination of those products. And the idea is that hopefully anyone who is a member of the Technology from Sage community can find out something new about the services, the products as they are, and can find out new ways to use them and learn from other members of our community. We're very fortunate to work with librarians and libraries across the sector and across the world, and we find that one of the really rewarding things is hearing about the different ways that, even as we're working on the products, even we haven't thought to put into action. So we're hopeful that there will be something for everyone to learn from these sessions. My name's Matthew Weldon. I can see that it says on my screen that my name is Team Services, but it's not. It's Matthew Weldon. I am Library Patron Consultant here at Technology from Sage, and among my responsibilities is talking to librarians and learning from them. So really glad to have the opportunity to talk to you today and to hopefully learn lots and lots over the course of the year from the librarian speakers that we will have along. And I'm joined by my colleague Mariette. I'll let Mariette introduce herself.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us for our first webinar. I do have to apologize. For some reason, Zoom isn't allowing me to turn on my camera. But like Matthew said, my name is Mariette, and for now you can just imagine what I look like. Hopefully in the next webinar we'll have that camera working. And I am a customer success consultant here at Technology from Sage. Any of you that have submitted support tickets, you might have had a reply from me, so lovely to have you here. A few of my responsibilities as well as support is, of course, customer success, helping you throughout all the products that you might have, whether that is with Talis or with Lean Library, and just making sure you are getting the most out of the products and features available to you.
Thanks very much, Maria. And yeah, there's always some technical teething problems, so no worries about that. We'll make sure we've got them sorted for next time. So I'm going to throw over to Mariette just to introduce exactly what it is we're going to be talking about today and what you can expect to hear from us. We're in the diary, I think, for the next hour, but we're hoping that will take about 30 minutes to talk through what we're going to talk through today, and we'll have plenty of time for any questions that you have as well. But I'll throw over to Mariette just now.
Perfect. So on today's agenda, we will be discussing communication with reading lists. Of course, with Talis Aspire, your reading lists allow you to communicate with your students. And we also have some features within Lean Library that just promote more communication within your patrons' workflow. So today we will be going over some existing features and upcoming features in both Talis Aspire and Lean Library that allow you to do the most with the communication features available.
Perfect. Thanks very much, Mariette. Absolutely. So the focus of today's webinar is very much on communication. And with that in mind, I'm going to kind of kick us off by talking about communication with reading lists. Resource lists are very much a fundamental part of the communication process at institutions, as I'm sure you're very well aware, and I don't need to tell you. But we want to have a think about the way in which resource lists support communication and features within Talis Aspire that facilitate that communication. Fundamentally, resource lists are communication tools. They allow for communication between libraries, librarians, faculty, and students, and that communication runs kind of in every direction. Resource lists provide a centralized hub for faculty to keep librarians updated on their requirements. Librarians can keep faculty updated on their progress, and librarians are also able to keep folks like the CLA and other agencies up updated on their reporting. As well as that, librarians and faculty are able to keep students up to date on exactly what's expected of them, and that can be useful for a number of reasons that we will come on to talk about. But as it mentions there, resource lists are centralised, so all that communication happens in one place. It's reciprocal, so it runs in every direction, and it brings librarians, faculty and students closer together. Librarians benefit from being able to make more efficient use of their funds because they see what's essential, what's optional, that sort of thing, and they can kind of give guidance to faculty on low or no cost resources. They can also enhance their copyright reporting through resource lists. Faculty benefit because it means that their students on their courses have easy, seamless access to course materials for any students, and there's a reduced administrative burden as well. One of the things that I've heard before is that in the old days, essentially, before resource lists, the way it used to work was it would literally be written out on a sheet of paper or in a Word document. And obviously, I think that can sometimes sound simpler, I'll just write it down in a Word document, but then the sort of added administrative burden of sending that off to someone, making sure it's been picked up, how do you keep track of the progress on that? That's something that resource lists allow us to address. And students benefit from those clearer expectations and from having seamless access to structured materials. And they also have cost savings as well. When something's on a reading list, it's very obvious to a student exactly where they can get access to it. Librarians and faculty are also able to guide them through any login procedures, that sort of thing. And so they don't feel that they have to go and buy resources on their own. So that's an important component of what the resource list provides. And here I've just mapped out on that same diagram that shows you the kind of interconnected nature of communication that happens through resource lists, where different features within Talis Aspire, kind of where those map to, basically. So you can see here we've got notes for the library as well as notes for students, importances and reviews. You'll also notice at the bottom that I've added in social annotation and noted that that is coming soon. So some of you who are aware of one of our previous products, Talis Elevate, will be aware that social annotation is something that we've worked with for quite a long time now. And if you've followed the product update webinars from our product team, you'll be aware that there's a new service coming this year called Talis Engage. Talis Engage brings some of that social annotation function directly into the reading list. Social annotation is useful for a number of different reasons. It's a really well evidenced pedagogic tool that can boost interaction between students, so student to student interaction, student faculty interaction, which is really important for having learning be structured and for being able to ask questions in a contextual fashion. And also student interaction with the resource itself, which is a kind of, I think, an underrated form of interaction, but it's really important that the student is able to dissect and to engage with the resource in a way that works for them, and that's something that social annotation provides. So functionality to allow that within the reading list itself is coming later on this year. And for more information about that, I would keep an eye on our product update webinars. Some of you who have attended those will already be aware that that's in the works. And I'm going to throw over to Mariette to talk about some of the ways in which Talis Aspire supports that communication.
Thank you so much, Matthew. So just elaborating again on how you can communicate with your students. With Talis Aspire, you have the notes feature, which allows you to leave notes on every entry available in your reading list. So faculty, staff could leave notes for students and could also leave notes for other faculty staff. We have examples in the next slide of what kind of notes you can leave. So of course, with these notes, your students can't respond, but it's really helpful whilst they're studying, whilst they're doing research, to have that additional information on these entries in your reading list, what might be helpful to an essay they might be writing, or if they've missed a class or a lecture, just to have that information there with the resource is extremely helpful and saves them a lot of time. If we can move on to the next slide. Brilliant. So like I said, here is an example of notes you can leave and how it would appear in the reading list. So for this cheese making book, you can see there is a note underneath for students that lets them know that we will be referring to this textbook throughout the entirety of the course. So this is a helpful way of just allocating any content, any books or articles that you might be using within your course, within your lecture, and notifying all your students of helpful resources that you have available.
Thanks, Mariette. I don't know why cheese making is always the example that I go to, but whenever I need to pull on a kind of a demo text, I always look up cheese textbooks. I suppose I think it's funny. Um, so yeah, the other way, one of the other ways in which Talis Aspire kind of supports that communicative aspect is through importances. Importances, you can see the ones that are available along the side there: recommended, essential, optional, background, and suggested for student purchase. These are really useful for kind of guiding students as to what's expected of them. It's really crucial for students, as you'll be aware, that expectations are accurately communicated to them. It's an important component of effective reading list design and of effective teaching. It helps them to or it helps them to stop feeling overwhelmed. It helps them to structure their time and their exactly how they structure their study. It allows them to do that in the most informed way possible and in a way that works for them. So they can immediately understand those expectations of them at a glance. It facilitates good time management, and they're also able to filter out resources based on importance, which is useful from a cognitive load perspective because it allows them to only focus on the things that are absolutely necessary to them, or indeed if they're doing research that is optional, they want to get more of a background on the subject, they're able to filter that out as well. As a student, back in the day, a long time ago now, and then as a learning technologist who worked with reading lists and resource lists when I was working for university, I've seen overwhelming reading lists, and uh, what I found at the time was that it was actually quite difficult to even begin when there was, you know, sometimes you would see resource lists with absolutely hundreds of different things, and without those importances, without the ability to filter it down, it was really tough to even know where to start. So that's a feature that we hope kind of allows students to yeah, reduce their cognitive load and manage their workload. Um, there are also benefits for librarians. They can understand faculty needs at a glance, so faculty can go in, construct their reading lists, and they can indicate importances as they go as well. So librarians, when they are making purchasing decisions, when they are seeing how many copies of a textbook they need, they can understand that at a glance. It informs that acquisitions process, and they are also able to make suggestions for alternative low-cost or no-cost resources. Obviously, I think that can be, or that has been quite relevant over the course of the past week, this idea of low and no cost resources, because of things that are happening more widely in the sector. I've seen some librarians talking about the potential benefits of things like open educational resources, and this is something that this perhaps is a useful tool for librarians, where they can go and see that perhaps a costly resource has been suggested, but it's only for background reading, so they can make alternative suggestions as well. And then we have the reviews feature. Aspire customers with reviews enabled can receive real-time updates whenever lists require attention. And it allows, again, that centralized platform where there can be an audit trail that's visible to all colleagues at an institution. Faculty can get simple notifications to inform them when the review is complete as well. So again, facilitating that communication in a centralized contextual space between librarians and faculty to hopefully make life easier for everyone. So those are just a few of the features that Talis Aspire has that can really enhance that communicative aspect. Marriott's going to just detail for us some of the examples that we've seen from our community.
Okay, thank you so much. So as you can see, we have a slide here with a little bit of feedback we have had regarding Talis Aspire. So with the first one, title of this feedback is Communicate Cost Savings to Students. So course reading lists were created to ensure that students have access to all class resources and that they are aware of which items are available as the course reserves to avoid unnecessary purchases. So again, it just shows how useful Talis Aspire is and how useful these features are to saving time and additional cost for your students. The next one highlights how easily faculty can now communicate within the library and also with their students. So Talis Aspire allows us to collaborate with the professors in a way that our other services could not provide. We can better understand what articles, books they're seeking because of them using the bookmark tool, rather than sometimes being left to wonder what item they're truly wanting due to lack of information. So these two, we just wanted to show how important it is to utilize these communication tools that you have available in Talis Aspire and the difference that it can make not only to the faculty staff, but to your students as well, and just making life easier for both parts of the library. Brilliant. Moving on to communication in patron workflow. So we will be discussing Lean Library. We've done a little bit on Talis Aspire. So for anyone who doesn't know what Lean Library is a comprehensive tool that enhances and simplifies access to academic content for students and researchers. And how this is done is that Lean Library integrates resources that the library has access to and also open access content into the workflow of the students and the researchers, meaning that whilst they do research and they're anywhere online, we can show them any books, articles, open access content that is available to them, similarly to Talis Aspire, saving them cost. So they're not making unnecessary purchases. They can see what the library has available. And it's just creating that, filling the gap between students not knowing what is available to them and also the library being able to let their students know what content is available to them so they're not making any additional purchases or missing out on the opportunity to see that content. So we do have 3 packages available with Lean Library. You have Lean Library Access, Lean Library Workflow, and Lean Library Speeches. And in Lean Library Access, you have this great feature called Assist Messages. And Assist Messages allow you to put a message on any website of your choice. It's very free, so you can set up any kind of message if you want to notify your users of a website being down, a subscription ending, or login details. It's completely up to you how you want to display that to your users, and they can see that as soon as they arrive on the website on and off campus. And with Assist Messages, it really requires minimal management, so you can even automate them to expire at a certain date and time. And this is one of the most helpful communication tools that they are, because you are not limited to what you can do.
Thanks, Mariette. And I think one of the other really nice examples that we've seen, you mentioned a few there, so something like a subscription coming to an end, that sort of thing. And we've seen a few nice examples recently of, for example, I believe there was one institution that was looking to set up assist messages only when the library was closed, so that they could offer kind of signposted communication even when their librarians were sort of out of the building and not there, which was a really nice use of it. We have also seen libraries use it to highlight journals that have been marked as predatory. So whenever they arrive on a specific or a hijacked journal URL, for example, the student or the researcher is warned, that this may not be a trustworthy publication, and we recommend approaching your librarian for additional support. So there's a lot of different use cases there, and the as Mariette has mentioned, the assist messages can be really highly targeted and also time gated for real specificity as well. And then we also have within Lean Library an integration with LibChat available with or through SpringShare. As well as that, we also integrate, I believe, with other chat services. LibChat facilitates real-time, on-demand communication with patrons, and with Lean Library, this support can be targeted to specific resources. So in the same way that assist messages can be surfaced on specific web pages, specific domains, so too can LibChat. And it means that the support process is streamlined. Inquiries are being directed to the experts at any given moment, and that support, as I mentioned, is contextual, which also reduces that cognitive load. Again, everything is happening in one place, everything is contextual. There's no need to flip between different screens and different platforms. Everything is nice and simple for students. And then I'll throw it back over to Mariette.
Lovely. So within Lean Library, we also have an additional feature called LibGuides and onboarding. And what this feature allows you to do is to display tutorials and guidelines for specific websites of your choosing within the extension. So what's amazing about the assist messages, LibChats, it's all within the extension. So we can show and display these guidelines and tutorials whilst they're doing research. Like Matthew said, they don't have to go anywhere else. They don't have to go searching through the library discovery or just look around. We can show it to them whilst they're on the website. So this again saves them time. They can have that support whilst they're doing research. So even when the library is closed, they can have that guideline to walk them through what they can do, how to log in, if there's a specific referencing style they should be using. We can provide that content for them as they're doing their research.
Sorry, the classic Zoom fashion, the microphone button keeps disappearing for me. So the feedback that we've had from both faculty and students has been really encouraging with regard to Lean Library. It helps staff more easily see what the university library has access to, and again is communicating those cost savings very simply to patrons. One of the things that I think is really important about Lean Library as well is that because it's so present within the patron workflow, because it is branded with library logos, colors, that sort of thing, and because it's very highly customizable, it's also really clearly communicating the value of your library to patrons. It's not so much seen as, obviously it is Lean Library and they see it as Lean Library, but they're also seeing your library's logo, your library's name, your library's tailored messages. And so it's very much cementing the fact that it is your library that is providing this service. It is your library that's providing access to these resources. I think that's a really important. I think that's really important generally. What we hear as feedback from, and I've heard in conversations with librarians, is often that challenge of I think the library can sometimes be seen as it's the building and it's the collection, and it's communicating the full extent of what is available through the library to patrons. So I think that's where, for me, the real power of Lean Library is. And as you can see there, with that quote from a postgrad student at the University of Manchester, it also just generally makes life easier for students, which is never a bad thing. Now, if you have at any point during this presentation seen any of the features that we've raised, anything that you think that's something actually I would like to put into practice at my institution, whether you have access to Talis Aspire or Lean Library or both, we have a few pointers, a few tips for you as to how you can put that into action. And Mariette's going to tell us about some of those first.
Pause. So the first thing you can do is speak to a customer success consultant here at Technology from Stage. So you've seen Matthew's lovely face and you've got all of our colleagues' pictures there. So you can see what we look like. We are here to help you with all of your needs. So we are your personal assistants when it comes to your products. Anything you need help with, anything you want to implement, we are always there to help you and always lend a hand in setup if you've got any queries or you'd like training, anything of the sort, we're here to help. So I want to talk you through what we can do for you as customer success consultants. So we can share examples of what other institutes have done. So with the assist messages, for example, you can be as creative as you want to, and some libraries have set up amazing messages, like Matthew said previously. Setting up assist messages to only show when the library is closed is an amazing way to utilize that feature. So we can share examples of the creative ways other libraries have used that feature. We can also provide you and highlight case studies from other customers that are using the same products or have the same packages for Talis Aspire or Lean Library as yourself. So you can just see what other people in the library space are saying. We can also help you brainstorm ideas for your institution. So we can help you with marketing materials, how to promote it more within your library, how to utilize these features to the best of your ability, and of course, share your success to help others in the future. So as customer success consultants, we are here to help you succeed. So with these case studies, we aim for you to be one of these case studies to show people how amazing these products and these features have been to your library.
Absolutely. And one of the other things that you can do to help keep track of some of those case studies, some of those examples, and ways that you can put Aspire and Lean Library into practice at your institution is to join our future success webinars. So you've joined this first one today. Thank you very much for being with us this afternoon. And we've focused very much on that idea of communication and how librarians, faculty, and students can be communicating with one another through the features in each of these products. But what we'd really like to do is over the course of these webinars is to explore some ways that people have used features from our products to in kind of different ways to address different themes that that these products are related to, and to really highlight things that you might not have used before or used in a certain way before to provide you with novel and unique examples of how to make use of Aspire and Lean Library. So the sessions will be live as they are this afternoon, but we will also be recording them to upload to our YouTube channel, and anyone who signs up for those webinars will get a message in their inbox later to let them know that that's now gone live. We'll highlight, as I've mentioned, features you might not have used before or new ways to use features you have used before. We'll share good practice from colleagues at other institutions and around the world. As I mentioned at the top of the call, one of the ways in which we are really fortunate at Technology from Sage is we not only have a big community throughout the sector, but kind of across the world as well. And there's one of my favorite things is bringing together people from different parts of the world, from different territories, and giving that kind of open forum, that opportunity to share about how things work for them. I think there's always something to learn from that because everyone works a little bit differently. So that's one of the most exciting things for me about doing webinars like this. And we can put you in contact with like-minded librarians as well. It may be that you come along to one of these sessions. We're hoping to have some of our users speak at future sessions, and you might want to reach out to them at the end to learn more from them. So that's another opportunity we're excited about. And one of the last things that I'll mention here is we're really keen. I mentioned there that each webinar we're going to try and focus on something slightly different. We're really keen to hear what you would like to hear more about. So, what would be particularly useful for you to know more about? What's something you would love to put into practice at your institution and could really do with some examples from elsewhere? So, please do reach out to us, whether that's in the chat at the moment, whether that's you can email either Mariette or myself or your customer success consultant. Do let us know what you would like to hear more about. And the very last slide that we have here for today is a request for you to join us over on Discord. So if you've never used Discord before, it's a sort of it's a forum that we use. We have special sections for our Talis customers, our Lean Library customers, and then we also have just general chats where you can talk to other librarians from around the world. It's a community of hundreds of librarians at the moment, and we would absolutely love to have you join us there if you haven't already. We have open discussion calls. So those are slightly different from these customer success webinars where they're drop-in sessions. You can drop in at any time. You can have a chat with whoever else is in the call at that moment in time. You can ask for their input, their you can ask them how they're finding Lean Library, how they are using their assist messages, how they have used importances to improve the reporting process at their university. So input from any other users that have arrived there. And you can also talk with our Technology from Sage team. We're all over there on Discord. We all keep an eye on it. So if you'd like to just chat with us, you know, in in conjunction with some of your librarian colleagues, that's a great forum to do it. So I've included the link there. There's also a QR code. So if you've got Discord on your phone, if you use it in your personal life, you can also join us over there. And with that, that is the end of our presentation for today. Of course, if there are any questions in the chat, Mariette and I will be more than happy to take those. But if not, I think all that remains to be said is to thank you very much for joining us for our very first success webinar. We wish you every success with your Technology from Sage products, whether that's Aspire and or Lean Library. And if there's anything further that you'd wish to discuss, if you would like to contribute to one of these webinars in the future, please do just reach out to your customer success consultant and we will be very, very happy to chat with you.